Garden Maters, welcome to Corner Homestead and welcome to the first episode of Growing Together. So a lot of Garden Mater subscribers have been sending me requests to do a video where I'm just answering their questions. And I think that was a great idea. It has been one of the things I've been working on. So I came up with the idea of growing together from greenhouse to hen house so that you can ask me whatever you want to ask, and I will come on and at least once a month or more. If it gets to be more, I will make it once a week where I can come on and just answer your questions. I get so many questions sent to me every day, and it really is hard to keep up on them all. So if you have a question about any of the videos, whether it be cooking, canning, salve making, whatever, the chickens, anything you would like to ask, so email them to me at chwteresa@outlook.com. The email address is right below. It is the Corner Homestead with Teresa email address. Be sure to put the word question in the subject line. I will read the questions or pick the ones that I'm able to answer, and I will come on and do the video every week, maybe even a live podcast here and there. So for now, I want to answer a lot of questions about the Comfrey salve. The Comfrey video has been the highest viewing video that I have done so far. And as much as I thank all of my Garden Maters and my subscribers and everyone who has ever watched, I believe the last time I saw it had about like 45,000 views. I get so many questions alone just on the Comfrey salve, and it is kind of hard and impossible somewhat to keep up with them all and answer them. So I did pick some of the most popular questions that are being asked right now about the Comfrey salve. I want to be sure to give you the answers. So the first question I get most of the time is, how long will the Comfrey salve last? Well, it lasts a very, very long time. And it doesn't matter if you put it into your refrigerator or if you keep it out of the refrigerator. I think it's going to last about the same length of time. If you put it into the refrigerator, it keeps it colder, of course, and it keeps the salve harder so that it would be more firm and not as easy to spread, which is great if you put in a little bit, or if you don't put in quite as much beeswax and it becomes so soft that it's runny. It's great to put in the refrigerator. Just keep it in there. If you keep it out of the refrigerator, it's going to last about the same length of time. I'm telling you, this stuff, it lasts so long. Now this one tin here is a tin that I did on that original video almost 2 years ago, and it is still perfectly safe to use. This is almost 2 years old. The only problem that comes with it, because it has not been refrigerated, you will see little droplets inside where it is just the oil starting to separate. Not sure how well the camera's, oh, there we go. But I'm sure you can see the oil is separating just a little bit from the salve. Once you rub this around, it's still perfectly fine. It's going to rub right back into there, and it's still perfectly fine to use. It's still going to have the beneficial properties of the healing. I'm telling you, this stuff, it's good for, as long as you don't see anything growing in there, kind of like a petri dish type thing, it's going to be fine to use it. It's just going to be fine. So like I said, Comfrey salve, I used to give it a 6 month to 1 year expiration date, just as a rule. But I have been using the same tins of Comfrey now for over 2 years. Some I have even longer than that, and they still are just as great. So if you see a little bit of droplets inside the tin when you open it, it's just from the humidity, from the heat and humidity in the air, and it's nothing to be worried about. So that is my main question I get asked. Another question is, can you use castor oil as one of the carrier oils? Now, I've never personally used castor oil as a carrier oil. The choice is up to you, of course, but some say it works great, and others just prefer the standard carrier oils, which is your olive oil, your coconut oil, sweet almond oil, sunflower oil, those types of oils. And you don't have to use just one type of carrier oil. You can put both. You can divide it, put 2 types of oil in there if you want. I'm currently doing the dandelion infusion, and I've got 2 types of oils in there. I filled it half with sweet almond, half with olive oil. So whatever you prefer. If you want to try castor oil, you can try it. As I say, try it. Some people say it's okay. Other people say not so much. How can you dehydrate Comfrey when you don't have a dehydrator? And that is a good question, but it's very easy to do. Just take the Comfrey, cut it, tie it up in bunches, hang them upside down, whether it be on a fence, in your shed, in your garage. I hang mine in the house, right on many times right over the kitchen opening here. So you just leave them there, and they are going to dry on their own. In about 7 to 14 days, you're going to see they're going to start getting very dried out. Once they're completely dry, you can just take them down, put them into a bag. If you don't want to hang them anywhere, you can also dehydrate them in the oven. You would just cut them, put them on a baking sheet, and you're going to set your oven between 130, 140 degrees and bake them. And you're going to bake them at that temperature for about 5 to 8 hours until they get, dry and crunchy. You can also lay them out in the sun. They won't take too long to dry in the sun, especially if it's very hot. So if you lay them out in the sun, I would just say watch them, so that if it's too hot of a day, it could actually bake those leaves and turn them brown, sunspots, burn them. So there's multiple ways of dehydrating your Comfrey. You don't really need a dehydrator. Can you add more beeswax into your salve? Absolutely, absolutely. Whatever you choose to put into it is up to you. Of course, the more beeswax you add, the harder the salve is going to be. So if you want a soft salve, you would just use, about the 2 tablespoon or so recipe. If you want it to be harder, just add more beeswax. That's all you would have to do. If you want to take small batches of it and experiment first to see exactly how hard or soft you would want the salve, that's probably even better to do that way. Some people say that their salve turned out soft once they put it into the jars, and they want to know if they can remelt it to add more beeswax and make it harder. You can. Actually, yes, you can. You would just scoop it back out, put it back into the pan, just remelt it and add your extra beeswax, and then you would just pour it right back into your clean tins or jars, whatever you're using. But again, if you see the water drops on the top of the salve, because it can occur if you're making your salve in very humid weather, and you pour it and you let the salve sit overnight to cool, and you come out and you may find water drops on top of the salve. It's perfectly normal. It really is. It's truly, truly normal. Now, one other question I mainly get about the Comfrey salve is, can they order it directly from me? At this time, I have to say, no, you cannot. I don't have it to actually sell, but that is also one of the projects I have been working on, is to try to get the Corner Homestead with Teresa store opened. It's been a long process. If I can get the store opened, it will be through Shopify, and I will have everything you have seen, the Comfrey salve, the calendula salve, everything will be included in the store. So hopefully, if it gets there, and I hope it does, but if I can get it completed, of course I will let you know right away, because so many people do ask if they can order it from me. And as much as I would love to be able to fulfill that wish, I'm not able to right now, but I'm working on it, and you will know if I do. Can you drink powdered Comfrey? Oh my. No. Please, no. Please, oh my gosh, no. Comfrey, and you will hear, some people will say that they do put, I have heard that they put powdered Comfrey into a smoothie and they drink it and they're fine, but Comfrey is an extremely toxic plant to your system inside. To use it as a salve or just in the oil form on your body is perfectly fine, but please don't ingest it. It is not recommended to ingest it. Please just don't ingest it. Another question from someone else was if I sell powdered eggs. Again, no. But it is something else that I may be putting into the Shopify store if it ever, once it gets up and going. I would really love to hear your opinions on the Shopify store. Would you like for me to add these products into a Shopify so that you can actually order them? It's a lot of work. Even though I've been working on this, it's just me, and it's taken a lot longer because things come up, things arise. You know, life goes on, as you know. So if I know positively that my garden maters would like to see the Shopify store take off, please let me know. Maybe I can get working on it a little bit quicker. Can I use fresh comfrey leaves instead of dried when infusing my oil? No, I would not recommend that. I'm apologize that I don't have the names of the question from the people who asked me these questions. Like I said, there was so many that I wrote down what I could. But no, to use fresh comfrey leaves when you're infusing oil is not recommended. It's not recommended to use any leaves fresh, whether it be comfrey, calendula, dandelion. You want to dry them, because fresh leaves will prevent the moisture in the oil, and it will stagnate the oil over time as it's infusing, and it will cause mold in your oil. So fresh leaves are never recommended. You always want to use the dried. Can airspace in a jar when infusing cause oxidation? Not as long as you cover all the leaves completely. If you only have a half a jar of dried leaves, just make sure you cover them completely. You can leave some in there. A lot of people will tell you can't, but you can, as long as the leaves are completely covered. They have to be covered. And if you think they're not, just fill it all the way with your carrier oil so that you're ensured that they are. I've never had a problem. There have been times where I've infused only a half a jar of something, and I never had the problem with oxidation. So I think as long as you have them all covered, you're good to go. I think so. Can I use plantain leaves powder for infusion? Well, I've never used plantain, but probably the best way to do it would be your heated method, which is cooking the powder in the oil, and you would heat it on the lowest setting, like maybe in a crock pot or or just in a slow cooker. But you put it in and you would heat it on the lowest setting for 24 hours. You just let it go for 24 hours. That would be your heated method. So I think that would be best to infuse your powder with that way. But again, experiment on how much powder you want to use, based on how much salve you're making. Yeah, I think that would be the best way to go. But like I said, I've never used plantain powder. Now I do use the Comfrey powder every now and then. I'll put it in the salve. This tin that I did 2 years ago does not have extra Comfrey powder in it. I remember when I did that, it was with the rosemary. I think when I did the Comfrey and rosemary salve, which I still have plenty of, and it smells so good. That's why I have extra, just regular Comfrey, so much Comfrey left, because I've been using a lot of the rosemary Comfrey. But I believe when I did the rosemary Comfrey, I put the extra Comfrey powder into it, and it showed the flecks of powder. But as for plantain, no, I've never really used plantain. So I do have a couple other questions here, but they are not from, have anything to do with the Comfrey salve, so I'm going to save those for next time. Most of them are the same, but next time we will do more questions. It won't be on just the one topic of Comfrey. Again, if you want to ask me a question, I'm always looking at the comments. Please comment on any of the videos. If I do not reply, doesn't mean I don't see it. I do read every single comment that comes in. But if you have a specific question, anything at all you want to ask, send it to the email below, the chwteresa@outlook.com, and I will be sure to answer your question. If I do not have an answer, I will search for that answer. Trust me, I will get it to you. And like I said, if you are sending in your questions by email, please put the word question in the email subject line, so I will know that it's one of my garden maters is coming in for a question. If you would like me to use your name within the video on your question, please let me know that as well, because I don't want to give out anyone's names unless it is completely okay with you. So I'm going to be getting ready to cook a really, really, really good dinner. So in a short time you will see this video, and I cannot wait for you to taste what I'm about to cook, because trust me, it's absolutely delicious. So thanks for being with me to answer a lot of your questions on the Comfrey. If there is a question I did not cover, feel free to send it to me and I'll get the answer to you. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. Love to have you as part of the community. Love to watch the garden maters grow. So until next time, I love you all. Take care. God bless. And I'll see you on the next video.